In this one, we are going to discuss about the 2015 to 2019 MCQs, and I have already shown you how to tackle certain types of the MCQs and how to eliminate the options and to get as close as possible to the right answer, even if you don't have the complete information. Okay, so this question is of 2015. Who of the following founded a new city on the south bank of a tributary to river Krishna? Okay, I have highlighted the important points. Founder of a new city on the south bank of a tributary to river Krishna. So we are talking about some city in southern India, present day say Karnataka, and undertook to rule his new kingdom as the agent of a deity to whom all the land south of the river Krishna was supposed to belong. Now let's ask a question to you, to yourself. Have you ever heard of this? No. So I have also not heard of this. Okay, let's say most of you won't be aware of this, but this one is very easy. So this aspect might not be. There are two facts are given, two hints are given, and then a factual answer is question is should be there. And who is the king? Who among these? The location is Karnataka. You can find out about the Krishna's tributary. Okay, Krishna's tributary, it must be around Karnataka. Who founded a new city? Options: Amogvarsha, yes, he was also ruled from that region. Ballal, Harihara, Prataprudar Deva was from Andhra. So you can eliminate that one. But most easy, Vijayanagara, founding of a new city. Harihara, one very easy question. You just focus on it. Vijayanagara was founded by Hariharan Bukka. You must have read this statement a number of times while reading any history material. Okay, so this portion, even if you are not aware of it, just based on this one, this part, the first part, you can easily find out. Just read about the options and then just recall in your mind Harihara, or in reverse manner. Did Amogvarsha, have you ever heard of a city founded by Amogvarsha, Ballala, Prataprudra Deva or Harihara? You will easily get your answer. Okay. Now, with reference to the Rowlatt Satyagraha, which of the following statements is or are correct? And the Rowlatt Act was based on the recommendation of the Sedition Committee. Now, the answer of the Rowlatt Satyagraha, the reason of the Rowlatt Satyagraha, if you are not aware of it, is given in here, that some Rowlatt Act was there. Okay. In Rowlatt Satyagraha, Gandhiji tried to use the Home Rule League. The demonstration against the Simon Commission coincided with the Rowlatt Satyagraha. Now, Rowlatt Satyagraha, if you know about the Rowlatt Act and Satyagraha, then you must be aware that it came in based on the chronology itself in before 1920, while Simon Commission came in 1928. So just based on this, the 3 is wrong. Now you are sure about 3 is wrong, but you are not sure about this, because Home Rule League came in around during the First World War. Most of the books you mentioned, Home Rule League, most of the chronology is mentioned about in that time period of when Gandhiji came. After that, you usually not heard about Home Rule Leagues in in any context, right? Gandhiji came, his early movement started, but then Home Rule League is not heard of. Okay, so you are doubtful about 2. And although you know about the Rowlatt Act, if you know that Rowlatt Act about, then you know about that its real name was ARCA, Anarchical and Revolutionary Activities Committee, and the Rowlatt Committee under Sidney Rowlatt was formed. Here's the Sidney Rowlatt, and that's why it became popularly known as Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act, and I will come to it later on, but let's find out. The 3 is wrong, absolutely. That means C and D is out of contention. Now A and B, 50-50 situation. You have to be sure about A and B until one of it. Now you know about Rowlatt Act, then this is correct. I will just mention about, if you know about the purpose of the Rowlatt Act, then This is largely, most of the acts are based on the recommendation of the committees, so there is nothing difficult in it. So one is correct, then two. So it still depends on that very option on which you have doubt. And although this is correct one, and 1 and 2 is the right answer, but it is becomes very difficult because I already mentioned that home rule leagues, most of the books you must have heard about home rule leagues in chronology books, etc., around the Second World War, before the Congress reunion, but after that you don't have much of the mention in your material which you have about the home rule leagues. But actually Gandhiji did become its head. Gandhiji named it as Hind Swaraj Committee in Swaraj Samiti and used its cadre in the home rule of the home rule leagues in the Rowlatt Satyagraha. So this is a correct fact. And the Rowlatt Act was why it came into being. Actually, the Britishers during the First World War, faced with the revolutionary activities in India, many of the revolutionaries believed that this is the right time, this is an hour of crisis for the British Empire, and they can take benefit of this situation. And if you remember the Ghadar movement, although it was a failed movement, but to tackle such revolutionaries, Britishers passed the Defence of India Act and rules, under which a number of restrictions were imposed, a number of rights were suppressed. But after the First World War, Britishers still were still doubtful of the connection between Indians and the Russian, because the Russian Revolution was just was on the cards, and Russian Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, and also with the connection between the Indian revolutionaries, the Indian political leaders, and the German government, because they were not there was trust deficit even after the defeat of the Germany. And that's why they came out with this Arka Act, or the Rowlatt Act, in which anybody could be held in detention without any trial, thus a right of habeas corpus, that nobody could go to the court to demand his release for violation of his freedom. That was suspended. So this right was suspended, and Gandhiji launched a Rowlatt Satyagraha. Now, the Simon Commission, I already mentioned about the time period of the Simon Commissions, and Simon Commission was protested again because it contained all 7 MPs of British origins. None of the Indians were there, and the purpose of the Simon Commission to check about the Indian constitutional scheme and to recommend about the constitutional reforms. Hence, this was considered as a disrespect for the Indian leadership and Indian intellect, and its leader, in its chairman was Sir John Simon, and it is popularly known as Simon Commission. Right. Next, the Home Rule in Gandhiji, which I already mentioned, that Gandhiji did become its president, later to become under the Indian National Congress. Hindu Swaraj Samiti, its name was also changed, Hindi name was given. Next question is about Cripps missions under Sir Stafford Cripps during the Second World War. So the question is, the plan of the Cripps missions and envisaged by the Cripps missions under Sir Stafford Cripps, that after the Second World War, India should be granted complete independence. Which one is correct? India should be partitioned into two before granting independence. Just underline the important point. India should be made a republic with the condition that she will join the Commonwealth. India should be given dominion status. Now, see, have you ever heard of something like that? Is it logically correct? India was made a republic in 1950 with the condition that she will join. In your study of history, you must never heard of it. So eliminate it. India should be granted complete independence. Britishers, that too during the Second World War. If you know about something about Cripps mission, that Cripps mission was sent to India to appease the Indian leadership, to appease primarily the Congress leadership, so that they can support the Britisher in their war effort, and also to give Britishers kind of the moral authority, because the Americans and Chinese were pressing Britishers to get the Congress on board, and this was just a formal exercise, kind of a formality done by the Britishers. And how can they offer something in war during the war times, that we will grant you a complete independence? In fact, Just ask yourself, has Britishers ever, until and unless the last moment, offered India the complete independence? Answer you will get no. Then India should be partitioned into two before granting independence. It is linked to two. Now, Stafford Cripps law, it do happen in the end. At the time of June 3rd plan, freedom with partition, but not in 1942 because of the reasons of which were applicable to this point in 1942, which I just mentioned earlier. And while reading about it clearly sound logically correct. Dominion status, even at the end of the in 1947, when India became independent, India first two dominions resulted, India and Pakistan. Okay, so this is how India got independence. So at best, 1942 they could have offered the dominion status, neither complete independence or partition and independence, or made a republic, which is highly illogical. So this is the optimum. This sounds very well. This is quite logical. So you can easily find out the correct answer. Which one of the following books of ancient India has the love story of the son of the founder of Sunga dynasty? It is a very factual question. It contains books, love story of the Sunga dynasty son. Who was the founder of the Sunga dynasty? It is a factual question. Pushyamitra Sunga. So is there any Sunga? I see something mein Pushyamitra something. Let's read about the name. Sopana Vasava Datta, name of girl, looks like a love story. Malvika Agnimitra, Malvika again. So you are Ratnavali. Meghduta, it does look like a different one. Okay, Meghduta was of Kalidas, so you will say, okay, this looks like Meghduta. You will think about it. Megh, rains, something about that, but not a love story. But this looks like Ratnavali, Nagananda, Harcharita were the name of the Harsha's place. Okay, but still Swapna Vasavadatta as well as Malvika Agnimitra, Kalidas play. Malvika Agnimitra is the right answer actually. The Malvika Agnimitra Sunga and Malvika is slaves love affair. And but you need to aware of you must be aware of the factual. So if you have focused upon the factual aspect of your classes, then you will be able to find out about it. But otherwise it is very difficult. Such straightforward factual questions are sometimes difficult than these questions, right? So if you have doubt in two and two, this one as well, do 50-50 situation, I will attempt this one rather than this one. Got it? In case you have to choose, attempt 12 out of 22 doubtful questions, 12 best questions, then better question will be this one to attempt rather than this one. Sun temples, very famous topics of the UPSC. I have included all these sun temples and many more in the architecture videos. So Arsavali is the right answer. But if you don't have the knowledge of the Arsavali Sun temple, then you can't answer it. Then if you have some other knowledge, say Amarkantak, you know about Amarkantak associated with Ramayana, and you are sure, say you are from that area, that no Sun temple is there, then you can try to eliminate one of the option, but otherwise you cannot find out about the right answer. Arsavali A is the right answer. Arsavali Suryanarayan temple. So again, this is a very factual question and this is very difficult. So your factual knowledge should be there, and you can get a revision and a very quick revisions of the important temples, etc. from my videos of architecture and religion. Architecture temples are there in that video. Now this is from Indian National Movement. Again, I told you earlier too, the sparing type of questions you will find in the Indian National Movement. Radhakant Dev, the first president of the British Indian Association. Also, this first president, this makes this matching difficult. Next, Gajlu L. Chetty, founder of the Madras Mahajan Sabha. This is okay, founder of the Indian Association. Now, 3 is easiest. Founder of the Indian Association. Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose, 1876. Many times you must have heard it, and I already mentioned it that in your trend analysis, etc. Those videos, that you should read these lists uh, before the exam if you feel that you are weak in history, because there might direct question like these questions. You will be able to eliminate options. Say if you are aware of, say, this only. If third is correct, correctly matched, third is correct, that means A is eliminated. Now let's find out, but the options are such, you have to know about these. But the Radhakant Dev with the Devendranath Tagore, etc., they were part of the British India Association. Okay, here British India Association, created by the Jamindara League or the Landholder Society and British India Society, and he was the first president while the Devendranath Tagore was the first secretary. But this first president is something which you might not be aware of. You might be aware that he was a member, he was associated with the British India Associated, but the first president makes it very difficult match. Now Gajru L. Chetty is the founder of the Madras Mahajan Sabha, Madras Mahajan Sabha, set up by the V. Ragachari, Subramania Iyer, Anand Charlu, etc. So most difficult aspect of this question is the first president, this Radhakant Dev. So 1 is correct, 3 is, now if 1 is correct, say I am aware of the 1 is correct, although it is difficult, but now you can say 1 is correct. So 1 is correct, that means C is wrong. If 2 is correct only, that means B is correct, D is correct answer, right? But most difficult aspect is the first president. Because many cases either founder is written or a member is written, but the first president, etc., is not written in these social justice reform organization. And most of the materials you won't find out such statement. Which of the following statement does not apply to the system the subsidiary alliance introduced by the Lord Wellesley? So does not apply. Now this is a different question asked in negative. To maintain a large standing army at others' expense, to keep India safe from Napoleonic dangers, to secure a fixed income for the company, to establish British primacy over the Indian states. Looks, all of them are look correct. Which of them does not apply? The question is that. Okay. To maintain a large standing army. What was the subsidiary alliance? Subsidiary alliance was systems in which East India Company, a princely, signs a treaty with the princely state, and the princely state gives a piece of land or say cash in lieu of a subsidiary force to be stationed in its territory to safeguard it from internal and external dangers. That means East India Company was able to raise the forces at the expense of the princely states, and they were able to station these forces in the strategic locations all over the British India or the Indian subcontinent. Thus this is correct. To maintain a large standing army at others' expense, the main feature. Moreover, the established British paramountcy right. This treaty, they accepted the British sovereignty, the British paramountcy, British as a supreme power. That's why they allowed it. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger, yes, it is also there, because there's a time period as was the time when during the time of 1799, 1800, and this time period when the transition from the 18th century to 19th century was being made, Napoleon was a major threat to the British colonial empire, not just the British Isles in Europe and British interest in Europe, but also in the British to the colonial empire in the other parts of the world. Oh, it is also correct. That means it is wrong. But let's look at the sanctity of it, whether it is right or wrong, standalone way. To secure a fixed income for the company. Now, yes, if you look, suppose you are doubtful on these two. Secure a fixed income for the fixed income. Subsidy is obtained in cash or from the revenue of the land attached. Income comes, but that income is for the maintenance of these forces. That income does not go to the add to the any income of the East India Company. That was spent there only. So that's why it is not a source of the fixed income for the company. right? It was kind of a earn there, spend there kind of a thing. That was that whatever was only maintenance charges. So this is wrong, this is right. Next, with reference to the Indian history, who among the following is the future Buddha? Bodhisattva. I mentioned in the trend analysis as well that at Mahayana's bodhisattvas are nowadays uh, very favorite of UPSC. In fact, Jainism and Buddhism has always been UPSC's favorite, but nowadays bodhisattvas are very famous in UPSC exams. I have included a list of these Buddha bodhisattvas and in my religion video. And here the future Buddha is actually Maitreya Buddha. One large statue at Diskit Monastery at Nobra Valley in Leh is also included in this sculptures video as well. The future or the Maitreya Buddha is actually who will come in future to purify the world, like the Kalki avatar who will of Vishnu, the 10th avatar of the Vishnu in Hinduism, in Vaishnavism, who will come in future. Maitreya Buddha is like that. In fact, it is considered that some people say that the Avatara system of Vaishnavism is taken from the Buddhist system. Okay. Now, Avalokiteshvara or Padampani or Alikeshvara are the name of the same Bodhisattva. Padampani being the lotus. Okay. There is one image painting, wall painting mural of the Padampani from the Ajanta caves, which is very famous. I have included that in the paintings video. Now the next one, the stone portrait of Ashoka, the only stone portrait of Ashoka, at the inscription Ranyu Ashoka, Shoking Ashoka, where it has been found. Totally factual one. Can you solve it? Sohagura, Shahbazgadi, Sanchi. I can only eliminate Sohagura because Sohagura was from the Chandragupta Maurya's time. Sohagura copper plate inscriptions. There are two inscriptions. One is Sohagura and the another one from Bengal. So, in which the famine relief work is mentioned. Okay, so Shahbaz Gadhi Sanchi associated with Ashok, so you can't eliminate Sanchi if you are not aware of it. So very difficult question to answer. It depends on your factual knowledge, right? This is the stone sculpture Ashoka with his queen Karuvaki at Kanganalli in Karnataka with Chhatra and the associate. Now, last year's again, next question. The statements and the common type of question. In the revenue administration of Delhi Sultanate, the in charge of the revenue collection was known as Emil. Yes, right. It is very easy one. One is right, that means C is wrong. Then second, the Ikta system of Delhi Sultans was an ancient indigenous institution, very easy to eliminate. Ancient indigenous, no, Ikta system was introduced. You must have read about it many times about Ikta and the Iltutmish, right? So if 2 is wrong, that means 1 is correct automatically. You need not check out the third. But still, let's check out the third one to verify your answer. The office of Mir Bakshi came into existence during the reign of Khalji Sultans. Wrong. Mir Bakshi was the equivalent of Arij Mamalik, which was the war minister or the military minister who was in charge or the paymaster general of the military. The commander was always Sultan during the Delhi Sultanate or during the Mughals. So, but paymaster general for the maintenance of the armed forces, etc., was the Arij Mamlik and under the Delhi Sultanate, and Mir Bakshi under the Mughals, not Khaljis. So 3 is wrong, and that verifies that A is the correct answer. Now the following statement about the Charter Act of 1813 I already mentioned in the trend analysis video of Indian history, that you need to read in detail each and every legislative act, particularly during Indian national movement from time period of 1892, 1909, 1919 and 1935. And if the last year 1813 has been asked, then there is less chances that 1833 etc. will be asked again. But at least 1919 Act is most important because we are in 2020. last year was 2019, 100 years of it. Maybe they might ask it. So it ended the trade monopoly of the East India Company in India, except the trade in tea and trade with China. If it is a straightforward factual point from that, yes. If you just ask yourself, is it correct? Then you will find out yes, X for the trade in tea and trade with China. And 1830, whether now you are confused with whether it was in 1813 or 33. Now recall that after 1833 there was no more Charter Act. Then there was only 1857 and rebellion, and finally the Queen's notifications and the end of the Company Raj, end of the East India Company EIC Raj. So 1833, even this tea trade as well as trade with China monopoly was eliminated and open trade ending policy started. So this is for 1813. This is how you can eliminate your confusion. So one is correct. It asserted the sovereignty of the British Crown over the Indian territories held by the company. This is the regular feature. This is the of all the regulatory acts, but not the Charter Act. Okay, sorry. So this is right. This is obviously this is companies ruling Indian see overall there is a crown, then company EIC East India Company, and then Indian possessions. Obviously company will crown will try to assert its overall sovereignty over the Indian possessions, correct? So this is logically correct. This is quite normal. I mean, it's authentic and easily be verified by you guys. Now revenues of India are now controlled by the British Parliament. No, the answer is wrong. Sorry, the third point is wrong. So right answer is A. Revenues of India's, there was board of control was there earlier, but revenues, although indirect control of Indian affairs was there, but not a direct control, and still East India Company was in charge. Thank you guys.